Welcome to That Entrepreneur Life, a podcast about entrepreneurship that takes you from idea to launch and beyond. Each week, your hosts, Andrew Lees and Clint McPherson, discuss different business topics aimed at adding value to any entrepreneur's journey.
All right, welcome back everyone to another episode of That Entrepreneur Life. I'm Andrew Lees, and as always, I'm here with Clint McPherson, my co-host, and I couldn't be more stoked to continue this journey as we bring in and interview high-value individuals that are well-respected within their respective industries and as entrepreneurs. With that said, I'm going to kick it back to you, Clint, and introduce our special guest.
And with that said, guys, get ready. Buckle your seatbelts, right? Let's introduce our special guest, U.S. Navy veteran Sebastian Hernandez. He is now an international self-mastery coach and global entrepreneur that empowers individuals, including myself. He just does it around the world to help you align, design, and create a passionate, balanced life worth living. Sebastian mentors and supports individuals from all walks of life to align with their best self and identify with clarity the areas that matter most to them, promoting self-discovery that drives specific actions that break through their limiting beliefs. He helps individuals realize that we, guys, listen to that. That's important. We design, create, and live a fulfilled lifestyle on our own terms. Sebastian's commitment to bringing out the best in you while holding safe space is what truly makes Sebastian a dynamic speaker, a mentor, and friend. Welcome to the show, brother.
Thank you, Clint. How you guys doing? I'll tell you what, it's an honor to be on here with you guys. Thank you for this opportunity, and I look forward to engaging in a very interesting, powerful conversation that I hope that by the end of this conversation, right, because that's really what it is, not only the listeners, but ourselves, really, we get to take on and implement these actions so that we can be in alignment with our highest self and we can be making the difference and impact that we're committed to doing, right? So I'm looking forward to it.
No doubt.
Start it.
Absolutely. That's awesome. Yeah, you're bringing some great energy here today, Sebastian. So we're really excited to get this kicked off.
Nice. Awesome.
Yeah. So before we dive into your 6 strategies for an expansive life, I think it's important for our listeners to hear directly from you on where it all started and why you left the suit, tie, and the corporate environment back in 2015.
Yeah, great question. So actually, all right. So what happened? I was living a life that tie, suit, dressed up, having meetings, coffee shops, accounting, going over people's finances, helping them budget, helping them track, helping them invest, look at the proper life insurance possibilities, and just an overall financial services. And I enjoyed it, right? I got to a point where I actually started to build my branch. I build my associates. So I had a whole agency that I was starting to really build and grow. But in the process of it, yeah, it looked great from the outside, right? It looked like I was happy. It looked like I was going after my goals and my dreams. And it looked like I was making an impact in a way that really fulfilled me. However, it didn't. For some reason, one way, shape, or another, I felt like that's not what I was created for. I wasn't destined to sit there and go over people's finances. While I do believe it's important and I valued the work, I knew I was meant to do something far greater than that. And I wasn't willing to just wait to see what may happen, right? So I think there was a point in my life where I remember I was at a seminar, and the main speaker, he goes on stage and he goes, "You guys, I'm going to tell you something that most of the leadership here are not going to approve of, but I don't care. I'm going to say it anyway. The reason most of you will never fulfill on what's truly important to you is because you're more excited to wear somebody else's jersey than to wear your own."
Yeah.
When I heard that, I was like, wow, I've been promoting everybody else, but what about me? Who is me? What do I want? What do I care about? Who is Sebastian and what is he capable of? And that was when it really hit me, like, I don't know. And I'm willing to do whatever it takes to figure that out. Like, I'm not willing to stay another day living, trying to pretend like I have it figured out when I don't. And so let's figure that out. And so that's when my journey started, of really uncovering the 3 fundamental questions that led to this whole journey back in 2015, which was, who am I? Like, really, who am I? Who am I on the totality? Not just the great, the good, the awesome, which what Sebastian shows, but what about the bad? The things that I keep in my closet, the skeletons in the closet, the things I don't want nobody to know about, the things I didn't fully appreciate or understand or accept or acknowledge, right? To fully encompass who am I in everything, right? And being able to fully accept that. Then it was, well, now that I know who that is, or once I know who that is, well, then the next question is, well, what is my purpose? Like, what do I now direct all of that passion, all of that energy towards what, to do what, right? It's why I asked the question, what are you dying for? Like, what's worth living for? But you have to know, what are you willing to die for? Like, what are you willing to die for, right? And that all of a sudden opens up this whole sense of direction, of focus, of alignment, of like, this is what I want my life to be about. And I'm willing to die in the process of fulfilling that vision, that dream. And if I die in the process of achieving that vision, then I die fulfilled, even if it didn't get fulfilled. You see that?
That's interesting. Yeah. So you're comfortable every day with what you're doing and how much progress you're making, right? So even if you don't get, because there really is no winning, there's the infinite game, the theory of the infinite game. And we're all, even though it's, we really are living a finite game, like for our own lives, but still you got to think about everything as being played out on a much larger scale, on a much larger timeline. So that's really interesting, where if you can kind of come to grips and be happy with yourself and your decisions on a daily basis, then you always feel fulfilled.
Well, the question is, are you on track? Right? Are you on track? Well, I think even before then, it's, well, am I on track on the right path, on my path, on what really matters to me, right? Because it's like, well, if I know what the end result is, and I know that every day I'm on that path towards there, then I can relax into knowing that it's inevitable that I will achieve it.
Yeah.
There's no of this whole syndrome of destination syndrome, that I'll be happy and fulfilled once I get there.
Yeah.
No. I'm fulfilled now because I know it will happen. And so I'm fulfilled because this is what I have to do to get there, regardless of the situation, regardless of how chaotic, how stressful, how straight up terrifying it can be. All of a sudden, this is part of what needs to happen. Part
of the journey. Yeah. And without that, you can't get to where you want to go.
Yeah. You can get caught up in the stress and the anxiety and the confusion of the whole thing, right? And then the last question is, well, what is your worth, right? Because now that you know what your life is about, then you can focus and direct that, right? But then the question is, well, then how do you make a living, though? You see, this is the real question where a lot of times entrepreneurs get stuck. They're like, great, I know who I am, yes, and I'm doing what I love, yes, but I don't have enough to pay the bills.
Right. That's important. I mean, at the end of the day.
Exactly, it is, right? And so, and I think that we get caught up in thinking that the only way to do that is with money. Well, not necessarily. That's before there was money, there was barter. Right?
Yeah.
The exchange. And so therefore the question then relies on, well, what are the skills that I can exchange?
Right.
Right. And then how can I compound those skills, block them in, group them, and then call that a service? And that service I can now exchange for something in exchange, whether it's money, but now I know what my value is that I can exchange to obtain other goods and services. You see, now that's what gives you the lifestyle, or at least the ability to create that lifestyle. But it was never about making money. This whole journey was never about making money. About first discovering who you are so that you can be okay with who you are, regardless of what anything happens. 2, you now have a direction. You now have a sense of fulfillment, something that fills you up knowing that you're doing. And 3, you're getting paid for this? What? That's the icing. That's the cherry on top. That's the extra. That's the bonus.
Yeah.
Imagine getting paid to do what you love.
Yeah. It's a good feeling when it happens. Yep.
You're on point, man. I mean, when you look at it, you can tell that, you've definitely done speaking engagement before, that you're a mentor to a lot of people, a new friend of mine as well. And before you develop the 6 strategies, man, and for an expansive life. I know you just answered the 3 fundamental questions or helped everybody kind of understand those and frame them, right? You know, who are you? What is your purpose? And what is your worth? And guys, if you're not hearing what he's saying right now, it is straight fire. I'm telling you, like, if you can answer those 3 questions, I mean, it will take you in a different direction, right? If you're lost, if whatever's going on, just listen to what he's saying, because I just want you to tell our listeners how important that foundation is to you, and how important if they can just understand, because those questions are just basic when you look at it, right? But at the end of the day, it's so hard for us to answer those questions internally too, because like you said, when you were on that conference, or whenever you went to that seminar or whatever it was, like, you're wearing somebody else's jersey, right? Like Kobe, Jordan, whoever it is, and you heard that and your mind was blown. So just give our listeners just a little more of an explanation of how important that is, because I just want you to reiterate basically what you just said in a shorter form.
Man, I'll tell you what, your access to freedom, to inner peace, your access to self-awareness, to self-mastery, your access to really being a student of the universe, of life, I would say, comes from the foundation of knowing who you are. And here's the thing, these 3 questions, like you said, they seem very simple, but yet they're very deep and deeply rooted, complex questions that deal with our way of being, with our belief systems, with our thoughts, with everything that has encompassed us from the day we were born all the way up until now. Like, who are we? So when we're clear on the foundation, there's no need to compare yourself. There's no need to envy another person. You know who you are. Why on earth do you care if the other person is succeeding or failing, right? That has nothing to do with you, right? And so if you now see an opportunity to provide, to help, to serve. But there's no need for the ego to feel the need to outshine others, the need to portray something that you're not, because you've learned to just fully accept that you are who you are. And when you've learned to master these 3 things, all of a sudden there's a whole new level of compassion, because you get that you're human and that you got all types of emotions, from anger, sad, depression, shame, to joy, excitement, pleasure, nirvana. And we have all of those emotions. The question is, where are we? And when we can relate that in ourselves, then we have a chance to relate to our fellow brother, to our fellow sister. That when they're fallen, when they're experiencing that sense of being broken, you can relate to them, because you get that they're human just like you.
Love that. And I think that then goes back to, when you're to the value, what value do you bring to the table? You know, what can you barter with? And what, if you are helping people and you have compassion for people, you know, that the help and the compassion and the value all go hand in hand, and people feel that, you know, and I think they're more likely to be interested in whatever service you have been able to package up if you connect with them, you know, and you're helping them, because that is the value. At the end of the day, it's not like business isn't tricking people into buying something from you. It's about, you know, clearly expressing the value that I bring. And if this aligns with the value that you need, then we've got something here, you know, and that's it. So you're just really just trying to help people. So I think that's really cool. And if you can kind of dig into what makes yourself tick and all of it, then that just helps you to get there. Yeah, I like that.
And it's your uniqueness. You see, here's the thing that gets sold. It's your uniqueness. You see, we get so caught up on trying to copycat what everybody else is doing, right? I've never been, and this goes against a lot of great professionals that talk about this, but I've never been against the whole just copy the system. Why reinvent the wheel? Me personally, I say bullshit to that. I want to create something that's never been done before. Why recreate something that's already been done? Great minds have already put that together. So now I want to use my mind or my access to creativity to create something that's never been done before, right? And so therefore, but how do you do that? You must fully embrace your uniqueness. You see, you bring something to the table that nobody else brings. You have something that nobody else has. The way you've experienced life, the way you've taken decisions, the choices you've made have got you here. And therefore, you've taken up skill sets and experiences that nobody else can come close to experiencing the same exact way as you. That makes you unique. So when you can now fully embrace and self-express that uniqueness, now you have something that's unique to you, that's valuable to you, that you can now provide as a service. That's unique to you.
Yeah.
Awesome, man.
That's really cool.
Andrew, man, we're gonna have to let him just dive right in because I can't take it anymore, man.
Yeah.
I sat with him last week and let him get into these 6 power strategies. I'm telling you, he's gonna blow your mind the way he approaches this. So Sebastian, with that said, man, we have a couple more questions when or weave at probably towards the end of the episode, but I don't even want to get into those right now. I mean, I know those are important to us in our show, but at the end of the day, man, I want to hear these 6 powerful strategies for an expansive life. Let's dig right in, man. The floor is yours, brother.
All right. Perfect. So thank you for this floor. First strategy number 1 is identifying your highest self, right? And so when we relate it to identifying your highest self, I know a lot of people have talked about this and they kind of share about it, right? And it's all about being your best self, right? But when I talk about it, I want to be a little bit more specific, right? And when I talk about that, we have now science to back us up when we use quantum physics. So if we are to look into the future, quantum physics now demonstrates that there are literally an infinite amount of possibilities. Now, inside that infinite amount of possibilities, literally anything is possible. So with that being said, then out there into the future, there's a version of you that has already achieved everything you've ever desired, you've ever wished for, you've ever dreamed of, like all of your success stories, your everything fully accomplished. My question to you would be, would you be able to describe that version of you in his completeness? Everything. His Mondays, his Tuesdays, his morning routine, his evening routine, his schedule, his mindset, the way he dresses, where he goes to work, how he works, where does he go on the first quarter of the year, where does he go on the third quarter, like fully envisioning and embodying, but more importantly, visualizing who this individual is, right? And now you would say, well, what are your thoughts about that?
That right there. We've talked about that before, right? Or me.
Yeah.
Let's hear it from Andrew because
Andrew.
from Andrew's side, it's like just identifying that is powerful, man.
Yeah, that really is. And I think we all think about, like, I've definitely thought about what that would be, but sort of, you know, what my future self would be, but maybe bits and pieces, not the whole thing, you know?
Yeah.
So I think that's really cool. And I mean, I do think, I will say this, there's some days when I'm like, I feel fully confident that first of all, that I'm going to get to where I'm trying to go to, especially in business, and that it's, you know, just a matter of time, I'm on the right path, and that I am, you know, perfectly like living the exact version of myself that I want to see in the future.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. But then some days, some weeks, you know, it's just like inevitable that I'm like, man, I feel disconnected from that. You know, I don't feel like I'm on that path, or I'm missing something, or I'm not living, not that person that I want to be. So I mean, I think that, and I've thought about this a lot recently, is I think the future version of myself, one really important key is more organization and more like standard operating procedures within my business that allow me to leverage my time and other people's time more efficiently.
Yeah.
And then I think I can, you know, at that point I can be a little bit more free, and I can it would just free me up to do more of maybe the personal things that I'd like to do, you know, live a little bit more.
Look, you just gave a perfect example of the power of that. You just said, my higher version of myself would probably be a little bit more organized, and I'd be able to leverage other. Well, that's the prime example of being able to visualize how your highest self would be doing, or what they would be doing, then taking that information and then applying it here now. Right. And so that's the process of being able to do that. So, and kind of like what you said, we've thought about it and we have glimpses and pieces of there, but to actually sit down and just write him out completely. And so one of the other things that I tell a lot of my clients as one of the first homework assignments is that once they've finished written it all out, then they have to actually voice record it, reading it to themselves, their new mantra every morning and every evening. Think about that. You wake up and the first thing you listen to is that highest version of yourself. That's who I am. So that's how you get to wake up to. And then right before you go to bed, that's where you go to bed sleeping. Like you go to bed knowing, yep, that's who I am. And you fall asleep, right?
Yeah.
This is what Napoleon Hill talks about in Think and Grow Rich, auto-programming, auto-suggestion. He talks about this, right? And so now it's literally using the same tools that he's been talking about, but now how do I make it more personalized for myself, right? And so again, the power in identifying your highest self is that you now have a very clear sense of direction as what your life is about. Like what you're trying to make exist. You now are clear on all about it. Like this is what I want my life to be about. Like this is where I want to live, and this is what I want my Mondays to be, right? And so for instance, I'll give you a personal example for me. I've created multiple coaching programs, but in the process, every time I realized this isn't going to be sustainable, I can't see myself doing this for the rest of my life, right? So I was like, no, how can I create it so that I have a lifestyle so that I can inevitably live it, it's fulfilling, and I still get everything done that needs to get done, right? And so it's literally a structuring, but you need to be clear on what that even is, right? And so that's strategy number one. It's what is my highest self? What would that even look like? Yeah. Strategy number two is a very important aspect. It's where the first one is easy. We've all heard about it, right? That's like dream board, right? Creating your dream board, right? We've all heard of that. Second strategy is now, how do I make sure that my alignments and my belief system are actually in alignment with that vision of myself? You see, because here's the thing. You can wish it, you can dream it, you can want it all you want. But if you don't truly believe it, it don't matter. Fact. Right? Like you can go to shamans, you can have crystal readings, you can have your oracle cards, you can have it all. But if you don't believe it, it won't happen. And usually what stops us from believing are the anchors, the programming that we've had throughout our life. Things that have happened that has made us believe that this is the way life is. And that's just the way life is. How? Because I know from experience. And what experience? The experience you had when you were little, when something happened and all of a sudden you made a decision based off that moment. How many of those moments do we have throughout our entire life that we've made decisions about how we're going to be here moving forward because we don't want that situation to happen again? And it's that thing that stops us from actually allowing the big blessings to come in because we're stuck in a way of, nope, this is how it's supposed to be, right? So our belief system get in the way of our actual success. So we have to be able to identify that. What are they? Where are my traumas? Where are my pains? Where do I not believe I can actually succeed? And that's what I call the inner work, right? Some people call that spiritual work, right? It's not comfortable. It's not comfortable at all. No doubt. But it's required to step into your greatness. It really is. Right? And so that's strategy number two. Once you begin to do that work, then we now start taking it into a more tangible aspect where we take the vision, we take our thoughts, and then we start putting them into actions. And the way we do that is by identifying our highest leveraged actions. Now, I'm sure you can agree with me that not all actions produce the same type of result. Yes?
No doubt. No doubt.
Right?
Absolutely not. Yep.
So now, if we were to look at that, then let's say that in a given day, in a 24-hour day, there's a specific amount of actions you can take in a day. There's only a specific amount. It's a specific amount. So now if you were to do an inventory of all of those actions that you do daily, are they actually helping you get to where you want to be? And so the way we can identify that is if we can categorize our actions into one of four different sections. First category is what we call high lifetime value actions. High lifetime value actions are the specific actions that are going to help us for a lifetime. This is building a business. This is building relationships. This is reading, education, right? These are things that are going to help us long-term. Working out, eating nutritious, right? High lifetime. Then we have high dollar per hour action. These are the specific actions you take that puts money into your pocket. The specific action. How many times are you doing that action a day? If you're not doing it a day, then how many times are you, if you're not doing it a week, well, then how many times are you doing a month? And if you're not doing it a month, well, then there's your financial problem. You're not doing the action required to actually put money into your pocket. See that? And so
right.
therefore,
and you have to know what those are too.
Well, that's my point. Right? You have to know exactly what are they, right? Strategy number or category number 3. Category number 3 is low dollar per hour action. These are the actions that don't necessarily put money in our pocket, but they still need to get done. Whether it's running errands, whether it's doing admin work, whether it's doing the repetitive day-to-day tasks that just need to get done. They don't put money in your pocket, but they still need to get done. And lastly is what we call zero or negative value actions. These are the specific actions you take that just provide no value to you, right? Whether it's being an idle, whether it's worrying, whether it's scrolling through social media with no set purpose, or scrolling through Netflix and it's been 2 hours and you still haven't picked the movie. Right? So this is what I'm talking about. So when we're able to now identify our actions and categorize them, we can now begin to see why we're getting the results we're getting, right? Where are we spending our time? What actions are we doing? And are our actions actually in alignment with achieving our highest self, right? So that's strategy number 3, identifying our highest leverage action. From there, we now know the actions. Strategy number 4 is start tracking our progress. Now, Andrew, do you track your progress in anything that you do?
I do, but not really officially. I'm not writing anything down. I'm just sort of, what I try and do every day, at least, is kind of take a mental inventory of what happened during the day, and at least just kind of get an idea of like, I felt really productive today. Was I really productive today? Because there are those, I think one of the biggest struggles sometimes are the number 3, the low dollar per hour action. The things that need to get done, but they don't get you, like if you're looking at growing your business and you're looking at getting more business and, putting more money in your pocket at the end of the day, they don't necessarily help with that, but they are neat things that need to be done. So it's like, oh man, I did all this great stuff today and I feel very, very productive. I did all these things that I needed to do to live as a human, but man, I really wish that I had done more of those high dollar actions, So, and balancing that is kind of tough, but I try and take a mental inventory at least every day and just, kind of figure out what I might need to do to be more efficient the next day or the next week or whatever. Good.
So in a way you are tracking your progress, but now here's the added bonus. When you're able to track your progress over long periods of time. You see, what happens is now you have a track record. And with that track record, you now have a history of your performance. And so now you can start identifying, I said I was going to work out 5 times this week. I only worked out twice. And I have a visual to see when I did it and when I didn't do it. Right. And if I can track that for an entire month, man, I said I was going to work out 5 times a week. And in an entire month, I only worked out 5 times. Now you're visually seeing, right, your inconsistencies. And so it's a double-edged sword. For one, it can show you where you're not being consistent and you can do something about it. Or where some people say, well, you know what, I'm just not going to do it. This isn't for me. And they refuse, right? And so the real power is, how do I learn to become self-sufficient? How do I learn to become accountable? How do I learn to become disciplined to be able to do it? And being able to track your progress gives you access to be able to identify, how do I improve? How do I make sure? How can I make sure that I'm actually getting there? And it's by visually seeing yourself doing it, tracking your progress. And I'll tell you what, guys, you feel so much better. Like when you're able to see like yourself progress after a week, 2 weeks, and you see your own performance start to escalate, it gets you pumped up, because all of a sudden the work that you're doing every day that may seem insignificant, over long periods of time, you see the impact. And then all of a sudden you realize that, it's small actions, but over long periods of time, it's compounding actions that produce quantum results. And because you're measuring it, you can continuously improve. You see that? So I would say that strategy number 4 is all about tracking your progress. By tracking it, you can improve.
It's so huge though, right? Because you're tracking that consistency or the inconsistencies, right? So you can see and identify the pain points, right? Like, why am I not, if I'm going to work out 5 days a week or eat healthy or this or that, and you're feeling down of something, you can go back and look at that progress. I think we talked about tracking with Mike Maw, I believe, and staying organized, right? And I really think going back to that, your number 3 basically just hits the nail on the head with what he talked about. So this whole entrepreneurial, 360 that you can put, like, just listen to it, right? It's like consistency, tracking your progress, and you can iron out the difficulties, because it's like, man, I don't feel good right now. Are you getting enough sleep? Are you eating healthy? Are you working out? And you're like, okay, well, let me go look. And I've been tracking. Okay. Like you said, the goal is 5 days a week to work out, and you've only done it 5 days all month. I mean, come on, man. You know what I'm saying? So that tracking progress is gold, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it goes beyond just a feeling, because you could work out five days out of the week, or take high value, action 5 times out of the month, and work out 5 times in a month, and you feel like maybe you did more than you actually did. At the end of the month. And same thing with the high dollar actions. You're like, man, I did all this stuff. But then when you write it down, you might be like, hey, I really came up short. I felt like I did more. And that's great. Having a good feeling about it all is good. But then in a couple months after that, when you're not getting the results that you want, then you start to, you get a little bummed out, you get down on yourself, and having a good visual representation of why you got that result. That's pretty cool. I like that.
Yeah, man, that's it. You having the track gives you opportunity to measure your performance. But I do want to add something that you guys are pointing to, and it's sometimes we get down on ourselves because we're not performing at the level that we want to. You see, and I think this is a scapegoat as well, right? It's like going back to that victim mentality. It's like, oh, poor me, I didn't do it. It's like, no. Warrior me says, well, why didn't I do it, right? So instead of turning it into, oh, I must be a failure, I must not be good enough, I must be lazy, it's, whoa, what are the actions that produce me to not actually do it? So therefore, it's not me, it's my performance. And so therefore, if I want my performance to change, then I have to change my actions, not necessarily me, right? I'm still me, right? And so we often think that in our failures, we internalize it and say, I am a failure, right? When we're tracking our progress, it's not I am a failure, it's my performance and my actions, or their lack of action, is what's producing these results, right? So good. Yeah. So tracking progress, good, right? Now, tracking progress kind of leads us into strategy number 5, which is accountability. And so now accountability for me is extremely important. And I look at accountability from one or two perspectives. One is I say, hey, Andrew, I'm going to go work out 5 times this week, and I'm going to shoot you a text message every time I go. And if for whatever reason I don't go to the gym, no matter what the excuse is, if I don't go, I'm going to pay you $20, right? And so now all of a sudden you're excited about holding me accountable to making sure I go to the gym, because if I don't go, you get paid, right? Yeah. So that's one form of accountability, where we have somebody else holding us accountable. The accountability that I strive to teach is self-accountable, or what we call self-mastery, where it's, how do I make sure that I do what I said I was going to do, even if nobody knows I said I was going to do it, right? And so this is where it's a self-accountable. It's like where my word actually has meaning. Therefore, I honor my word. Therefore, everything that I do it because I said I was going to do it, right? And so there's a whole new level of accountability. But now that accountability, what we're really looking at is how good is our willpower, because that's really what we're looking at, is willpower. Now, if you can have strong willpower, then you can have strong discipline. And if you can have strong discipline, then you can remain consistent. And if you can remain consistent, then you will get your results inevitably. The key thing is, how is our willpower? And so willpower is learning to become a student of our own patterns, of our own BS, of our own excuses. Right. We're becoming self-masters of identifying where we self-sabotage. It's that level of awareness of continuously of, I don't have to wait till somebody tell me I fucked up to know that I messed up, because I'm looking at my actions. I'm looking at what I'm doing. I'm tracking my progress, right? And so therefore it's this empowering leadership of, I need to lead myself. And if I need to lead myself, then how do I continually look for where I'm not leading myself, right? Because you don't have somebody looking you in your eyes and telling you, hey, you didn't do this, you didn't do this. And as most entrepreneurs, we don't have that boss or that upper up telling us what we need to do. So it's like, it's us. And so therefore, then all of a sudden, the real challenge, or I would say the game, becomes how can I continuously improve myself and make sure that I'm improving myself by doing what I said I was going to do, right? And so that's that self-accountability, that willpower, right? Which then leads to the last strategy, which is great. Now I have this willpower, I have all this stuff, and now how do I combine it all together? Well, what are my objectives for the next 90 days? So in the next 90 days, what can I commit to doing that in my process of achieving that, or in my process of aiming towards that and striving to achieve that, I will inevitably embody my highest self that much more. It's like, now it's like you now take action and create it. You're creating a game. In the next 90 days, what would I want my life to look like? And you start playing, and you start measuring your progress, and you start holding yourself accountable, and you start doing that, right?
When you look at it from that angle, it's again going back to holding yourself accountable. Basically, you're taking those steps to get to your higher self. You sat there, whether it's through meditation, the meditation that you have on your website and what you give to your students, and listening to that and really tapping in and doing that soul searching that's needed to identify your higher self. Once you identify your higher self and you're able to meet that person, whether it's through your mind, whether it's through just actually visually feeling that you've actually encountered that person, and those 90-day objectives, like you said, man, it's a revolving door. I look at it that way, right? Because we talked about this offline, was when you climb that mountain, there's another mountain that's higher, right? You get to one peak, that doesn't mean you're at the peak and at the end goal, because like you said, for coaching, this is not something you're going to want to do for the rest of your life, but it's the path in your journey. From you identifying self, you get fulfillment out of it. But again, you continue though in taking those steps and taking those actions to get to that ultimate destination. Like you said, you might never get there, right? You might die, but it's the journey along the way that you're enjoying to get there through that visualization and through the accountability process and through your leveraging actions and everything like that. And like you said, it comes and aligns everything in one, man. And that's, to me, that all of this is just high-end, powerful things that like really can touch you as an entrepreneur, as an individual, if you sit there and again, it's all about trying to frame it and just getting it and picture it. And once you picture that and you continue to make those moves, man, I think there's nothing going to stop you but yourself.
Yeah.
And
it's becoming a student of the process. And it's not about the destination. We get so caught up about the destination. Once I get here, then it's going to be great. Once my business reaches this goal, then it's going to be great. It's never ending. It never ends. And so when we can allow ourselves to be engaging with that, then all of a sudden I think it's ironic. The moment you stop expecting to arrive at a destination, it's like all of a sudden you realize that every place you're in is the destination.
Yeah. I've talked with a bunch of people recently about ambition and how it can hold you back. I think, at least I feel like that, because I just thought about it because you were talking about, thinking about the destination and obsessing over the destination. To me, ambition is necessary, but it can also kind of be closely tied to wanting to be at the destination before you've even done anything. And so, I feel sometimes like my ambition can actually hold me back if I don't control it. If I don't take a step back and, and practice the willpower and discipline and consistency, because the ambition kind of skips over that sometimes. You get so excited about things and you're like, you get anxious and you want things to be accomplished tomorrow. And that's just not how almost anything gets accomplished. There's a few things where you get it done and you're like, oh, wow, I had this huge result within 24 hours, but usually it's that compounding of things that you're doing on a daily basis that get you there. So I think that's interesting. And, it's probably a question for a different day or a topic for a different day about ambition, but I thought there's some kind of correlation there with controlling it and making sure that that you're not getting caught up in the destination, and that, you're constantly value the journey on the way there.
Yeah, I would say and I love that. I think that I don't necessarily think ambition is necessarily the problem. I wouldn't even say the problem, the factor. I would say the expectation behind right? And so I believe that there's a distinction that I love that I use daily, and it's the difference between an expectation and an intention. So this distinction to me literally altered the way I related to things once I realized that I had a lot of expectations and my life was constantly being disappointed. And I was just like, man, why? Well, then I realized, well, shit, 95% of all the expectations I've had ended up in a disappointment. And so I realized, why? Why can't people just follow, like, just lead up to like me up to my expectations? And then I realized, I'm like, wow, that's very egotistical.
You're like, wow, I have a very, strong or a very bloated sense of myself or something,
Yeah, right. And so, but then the thing though, it's not about expecting, but rather intending. You see, when we can shift the expectation where it's not, I don't expect you to be any way. I don't expect you to do anything, but I do have intentions. And with an intention, that's my responsibility to make that intention happen. I'm not expecting it to happen. I am intending it to happen. And so it takes the frame from sitting down waiting for something to happen to us to all of a sudden taking the captaincy and saying, I want it to happen. I'm going to do it. And if it doesn't happen, I'm not attached. But that means I must have not done something to make it happen, so I have to continue to work towards it. But then all of a sudden, it takes away this idea that it needs to be a specific way by a specific time. Nope, I let go. It's letting go of the expectation and attaching myself to the intention, or aligning myself, I would say, with the intention. And the intention is, this is what I want. This is what I want. And this is what I'm doing to make it happen. And if it doesn't happen, then it's in my responsibility or action to continuously try to make it happen with no expectation of when, right? But then
I like that.
The driving force of making things happen versus the stop, hold, expecting things to happen, didn't go my way, and now I'm going to be upset about it, right? And disappointed.
Yeah, because there's so many times on a daily basis even that, there's some days everything seems to fall into place and it's magical. And you're like, how does this not happen all the time? It seems so simple. It seems so easy, that like the things that I've done feel, they feel on point. They feel like everything is, I meant to do it and I got the result that I was looking for. And everybody else seems to be, that I'm working with seems to be working in harmony. But then that's just not how it goes all the time, or most of the time, really. So one little setback can get you totally derailed if, like you said, you're expecting something.
Yeah, it's the moment I let go of expectations, my inner peace quadrupled.
Yeah,
it's like, oh, well, that didn't go as planned. Well, all right, well, that didn't go as planned. All right, well, then what can I do about it, right? It's like, all right, well, then what can I do about it? There's nothing I can do about it? All right, well, then why am I going to sit here and complain about it or whine about it or continue to hold on to something I can't do anything about, right? But again, I think that is a skill set or an art form of learning to let go. And I have my whole coaching was let go and have faith, right? And that faith was have faith that something bigger than you knows more than you to have things taken care of, so you don't have to have all the details. Like, just have faith that there's something bigger and it's got your back. And it's an idea, right? Because there's nothing truth about it. And I guess that's what faith is, right? When there is necessarily no facts about it, but it's a belief. And I'm like, well, that's what I believe. I believe that no matter how dark of a place I'm in, I can be walking through hell myself. And I know that I'm protected because I feel it, right? But it's that belief, that knowing, that faith, and that faith also, I believe, plays a huge role in all of this. It's having faith that you will get to your desired destination or on the path to that destination. And that destination is your highest, never-ending, infinite highest self.
Yeah, and that brings peace and it brings, comfort, and it frees you up to be able to, to continue on your journey and not just get completely bogged down.
Yeah.
That's awesome. We could be talking to you all day. This is really great stuff. I love it.
Let's finish up with a couple more questions and then we'll just wrap this up. But Sebastian, man, I want to know from an entrepreneurial standpoint, what's been the most enjoyable thing for you and what has been the most difficult thing trying to balance everything you do on a daily basis as an entrepreneur, man?
So the most enjoyable thing as an entrepreneur, yes?
Yeah.
Is seeing the process unfold, right? Like I sit back and sometimes I'll look back and I'm like, wow, where was I 5 years ago? I had an idea and that was it, right? I had a vision that one day, hopefully, I'd be able to travel the world and lead retreats to different people in different countries throughout different jungles, right? And that was just an idea. And to see it unfold to the first time I actually got to do that, to now doing it professionally, to now, right? So I think the most enjoyable thing is watching it unfold, like literally watch your dreams unfold. I would say the most confronting thing is all the heartaches that happen in the process when you feel like this isn't the right path, like you feel like you don't know what you're doing, like you should just quit, like you should just go find a regular job, and you should probably finally listen to what your family said, and you should probably listen to what your friends said, and maybe they were right, and maybe you should just go use that degree for something that really does pay the bills, right? So I think it was dealing with those conversations internally when you have nobody there that's on your side, when you have no one that supports you, when you have nobody that believes in you, when it's just you and that notebook, and you're saying, I'm going to create something that's going to alter not only my life, but the lives of everyone that it touches. And I don't know what that looks like, but I'm willing to figure it out. Right. And when you're there and nobody believes in you, I think those are the moments that are difficult as an entrepreneur.
Absolutely agree.
Guys, I think that's a wrap for episode 11. Sebastian, I want to thank you, brother, for being on, taking your time out of your day to join us and help us add value to what we've been doing on this podcast. Andrew, like always, brother, it's awesome.
Yeah, we really appreciate it, Sebastian. It's really good. I know our listeners will enjoy all of your insight and energy too. You definitely bring a great, like I said it before, you bring good energy to it. So through the airwaves,
without a doubt,
on that entrepreneur life. So yeah, man.
Thank you guys for having me. Thank you guys for doing what you guys do. You guys are a voice for many entrepreneurs out there that are on this journey, right? Whatever that journey looks like, we're all on some type of journey. And when we can align and find groups of people that are sharing positive messages like you guys, and bringing other people to share that message too, that's powerful stuff, man. So thank you for creating community and bringing me to part of your guys' community. So thank you.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
no doubt.
We appreciate it. Well, guys, it's a wrap for episode 11. I want to thank you, Sebastian, for taking the time out of your day to join us and help us add value to what we're doing on our podcast. Thank you guys so much for listening to That Entrepreneur Life. To learn more about what Sebastian is working on, check out ignitewithsebastian.com. If you like what you heard today, make sure to subscribe to our podcast on iTunes or any other major podcast directory. You can also find us on all the socials and on our website at thatentrepreneurlife.com.
We also want to continue to give a special shout out to our family and friends, include all of our listeners, followers, and subscribers. Thanks for continuing to support what we do as entrepreneurs. And don't forget, guys, to join us next week on another episode of That Entrepreneur Life.
Thanks for listening to That Entrepreneur Life podcast. Be sure to visit thatentrepreneurlife.com to join the conversation, access our show notes, and discover our fantastic bonus content. Don't forget to join us next week for another episode as we continue to add value. Until next time.